of this meeting of Mayor and Council was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Co-Star, our official newspapers, and posted on the bulletin board in the school building. Take roll call. Councilman Donovan? Here. Councilman McKinney?
Here.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Here.
Councilman Montanaro?
Here.
Councilman Levis?
Here. Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our troops and first responders and their families. Thank you. Are we having the public hearing on the,
Yes.
okay.
Okay. So the borough is applying for a Monmouth County Community Development Grant for ADA compliant doors and automatic openers for Borough Hall and Taylor Pavilion. And part of the grant application is we have to have a public hearing. So if anyone has any questions or comments about the grant application, please step forward, state your name and address. Okay. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the workshop, and I believe Councilwoman Montanaro has something she'd like to discuss with the council.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have some old business I'd like to discuss. As you're aware, last meeting we discussed my concern and the concern of fellow council members, our beach staff, and the public regarding us not having a bathroom on 3rd Avenue. I continue to believe that this is an issue that needs resolving, especially for our seniors, families with young children, and people with disabilities in accessing a restroom close by. So I would like to make a motion to the mayor and council that we ask our borough engineer, Jim Orris, to further research and give us some ideas to alternative solutions to the 3rd Avenue bathroom situation.
I would like to second that motion.
My suggestion is if anyone on the council would like to make any comments, this is the time to do that.
I also feel like we need that bathroom back on 3rd Avenue. There's a lot of people that have been asking if we could get that back, and it's been a sort of a mainstay for years and years, so it is, not having that bathroom is kind of subtracted from what was normal for years, so I believe it would be a good idea if we could find out if it's possible to get that bathroom back in some way, that we should do that.
My only concern is that whatever is proposed is with the approval of the Department of Environmental Protection. I mean, I don't think we want to proceed with something that's going to cause them to look at us and get their attention if we don't need to do that. So that would be my only concern at this point.
That's why we enlist the engineer, right? We can speculate all we want, but he's going to figure out the CAFR permit, apply for the CAFR permit. At the very least, if we apply for the CAFR permit, we get rejected. We get rejected.
You don't want to get, the cart in front of the horse. It's just a motion to begin a review.
Let's do it.
There are options for portable trailers that I've looked into. There's only a few actually that are ADA compliant, and I've looked at several companies and even gotten some quotes. The issue with getting them for this season is that it takes about 3 weeks heads up to get any of these portable trailers, even if we did it street side of the boardwalk. And it would take about 2 to 3 council meetings to get through. So we're getting towards the end of the season. So that's something that maybe we should discuss too, is what are our other options for the rest of the 2024 season, or are we just looking at next year?
Guess we're ready to vote.
Okay. Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Yes.
Councilman Montanaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Does anyone else have any items for the workshop? If not, I'll continue. Okay. bring the council up to the meeting we had at the Belmar Housing Authority on July 1st. I attended the commissioners meeting with Councilwoman Rondinaro, one of our redevelopment attorneys, Leslie London, and our planner for affordable housing issues, Jennifer Bean. We explained the proposal that we had previously sent to them. The commissioners and the public had many questions that were answered. And after the presentation, I and Ms. London and Ms. Bean left the presentation so that the meeting could continue. My opinion is, obviously there was no support for the proposal from the commissioners or the public. Even though I did make clear that the decision was a decision of the commissioners and that the borough would be fine with any decision that they came up with. So we've not received any official word from the BHA, but I'm assuming that they do not wish to proceed with that. So that's the update on that. Okay, any questions, comments from the council? Okay. On redevelopment, I have an update. We're not going to have the presentation tonight because things are still in flux in terms of the negotiating that the attorneys are doing with the interveners. But I'm going to read something that was prepared by the attorneys to clarify something that was said at the prior meeting about the 12 affordable housing units that we currently have. Okay. The borough has determined that 3 existing redevelopment projects do not include affordable housing units as agreed to and required. And these are the 12 units that we talked about at the last workshop. These projects are located at 707 10th Avenue, 800 Main Street, and 500 Main Street. The redeveloper for these projects executed agreements requiring affordable housing units. Specifically, the 500 Main project was to include 2 affordable housing units out of the 24 units in that building. The 800 Main project was to include 4 affordable units out of 34 units, total units. And the 707 10th Avenue project was to include 6 affordable units out of 60 units. These 12 affordable units were included in the calculations submitted to the Fair Share Housing Center to determine the borough's current affordable housing obligation. In the course of conducting its due diligence, the borough determined these units were never deemed restricted as affordable housing units in violation of the agreements with the borough. 800 Main has been out of compliance since 2015. 500 Main and 707 10th Avenue have been out of compliance since 2020. The redeveloper has also failed to file its audit with the borough for the past 9 years as required by the long-term tax exemption law. The borough has issued notices of default under the financial agreements for these projects and intends to aggressively enforce the redeveloper's obligations under the agreements with the borough and pursue all remedies available to the borough. Okay, so in just a brief summary, we don't have those 12 units, but we are fortunate though that the Fair Share Housing Center will let us count those as in part of our number because we are going to be taking action against the developer to essentially provide those units. Okay, so that's the update on redevelopment. Any other comments, questions? No? Not seeing any. Let's move on to petitions. Do we have any petitions?
I did not receive any petitions.
Okay, approval of minutes.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 25th meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rondinero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Abstain.
Okay, reports of council. Councilwoman Donovan.
On the 10th is our first movie on the beach in Encanto. I will not make the same joke I made last week, but you should all come down. It is a wonderful time. That same night we have a tourism meeting. I encourage anyone who's interested to come by. We'll be talking about different ways to bring more people into Main Street and through the marina, and help people coming into Belmar navigate around and know all the different offerings that we have as a town. So come by for that. Environmental Commission meeting is also coming up. We're talking about different events that we can have to bring awareness to eco-friendly practices around town, and as always, discussing Silver Lake. For a full schedule for movies on the beach, you can visit our Instagram page. It's also available on Facebook. And that is about it for me tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Kinney?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say, I thought the fireworks were great up in Belmar. I hope everybody was up there. It was a little chilly, right? Everybody had their blankets. But I thought Raising Forward did a really good job with their laser light show also, and Kinney Chiropractic was proud to be a sponsor. So I thought it was a really good job they did this year. Recreation, soccer sign-ups are happening right now, so you can go online and sign up for fall soccer. Junior Guards has been going really great. Councilman Wentz will have a little update about Junior Guards. ADA, the ADA committee is going to be doing a presentation to the Belmar summer campers this Friday on being sensitive to kids with disabilities and special needs and anti-bullying. That's at 9:30 this Friday. So come out if you would like to see the kids and some of the things we're going to be doing. It's very interactive and it's really good for the kids. They really liked it last year, so we're excited to do it again this year. Shade Tree Commission is doing a meeting, the next meeting is this Thursday at 6:30 right here. A couple things around the schools. Belmar Elementary is in the process of replacing their old shingled roof with a new metal roof. The cost is 40% covered through New Jersey State ROD grant, so that's great. That's happening now. I'm sure everybody's been seeing that. Yesterday was the first day of the Summer Academy, which is Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to 11:30. That goes from July 8th to August 8th. And then also what they wanted us to know is that Belmar Elementary School is excited to announce that free breakfast and lunch will be available for all children under the age of 18 from July 8th through August 8th. This program will be offered every Monday through Thursday. Breakfast is at 8 a.m., lunch is at 11 a.m. We encourage families to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to ensure our children have access to nutritious meals throughout the summer. And there's going to be 2 pizza parties at, this summer, July 17th at 11 a.m. and July 31st at 11 a.m. So Belmar Elementary wanted us to pass that along. And then the only other thing I have around the school, St. Rose Grammar School would like to welcome Kevin Donahue as their new principal. We look forward to meeting him and learning more about his goals for St. Rose's future. So I haven't actually had a chance to meet him yet, but I hope to soon, and we'll see what his plans are for our elementary school. And then we did do a ribbon cutting for Hot Mess. That's great. Everybody was there dressed in, well, some of us were dressed in pink. They were all dressed in pink. But that's going to be a great addition to our business community in downtown Belmar. So go visit Hot Mess. And that is all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Rondero.
Thank you, Mayor. Belmar Housing Authority, as the Mayor discussed, the BHA meeting was Monday. It was clear that the proposal to be included in the affordable housing plan was not what the residents wanted. I was grateful that both our BHA residents and other borough residents came out, voiced their opinion, and we heard them. We heard the residents, and we're no longer pursuing this option with the BHA, as keeping the priority to Belmar residents first is extremely important to them and therefore to us. The new specs for the facade bid are complete, but the bids will not go out until the funding is received for the project. So I'll let you know when I know more. Belmar Public Library, the windows for the library should be arriving soon. We're still waiting for a few front windows. This Friday, the library offers bilingual story time with MD Paradise at 10 a.m. and author time with Natalie Cristo Panchetti on Saturday, 11 a.m. with the book This Too. There's a Medicare information workshop Tuesday, July 16th at 5:30 p.m. And then also we have the Black Ties performing on the front lawn on Thursday, July 18th at 6 p.m. Lastly, I've been speaking with residents in my area, specifically on the corner of Pine Tree Way and 16th, regarding continued issues of speeding and lack of driver attention to our pedestrian crossway there. They have repeatedly requested help with this from our borough, from our police. I know Chief Scott has certainly heard enough from us all, and I have talked to her just this week about it. We're really hoping that Monmouth County can consider other options, including crosswalk lights, repainting, and speed bumps. I'm told speed bumps aren't likely, but I hope we can question this further, as many children live in this area and our residents are at risk. I don't know what we can do if no one's heeding to the crosswalk. I think it's just really important. And I'd like to thank all who were involved in making the fireworks and light show a success. And I'm hoping the fog and weather holds up for our Belmar Beach Lifeguard Tournament this Thursday at 6 p.m. Yesterday they tried to do it and the fog was just too heavy. Additionally, this Saturday, 12:30 at Jack's Tavern is the Summer Beach Music Studios Scholarship Fundraiser. This is always a great concert, so come on out and support scholarships for our local music kiddos.
Thank you. Council President Levis.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to congratulate Nicolette on the great job she's doing with Belmar Junior Guards again. It's a great program, and they're going to be having their tournament on June 19th down at the 6th Ave Beach. You can get down there and see the kids. It's a great time, and those kids are really impressive on how they're doing it. This is the future lifeguards of Belmar right there. So congratulations, Nicolette and Barry, for running that program. That's all I have.
Okay. I have nothing to report because, as usual, the council people have taken every event that has occurred in town and has talked about it. So I'm going to say let's move on to the public session on the consent agenda.
If anyone from the public has a comment or question about a resolution on the agenda, please step forward, state your name and address. Can I have a motion to close the public session?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the resolutions as listed on the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second?
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfuskill?
Yes.
Councilman Rondonero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
And then we have, now we'll do ordinances. Ordinance 2024-15. This is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 23, Garbage and Waste of the revised general ordinances. This is a motion to offer the ordinance for first reading and introduction.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfuskill?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rondonero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
And next we have ordinance 2024-16. This is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 16, Section 3, Regulation of Noise, providing for certain exceptions. Can I have a motion to offer for first reading and introduction?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfuskill?
Yes.
Councilman Rondonero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
No.
And now we have public session. If anyone would like to speak, please remember to state your name and address when you come up to the microphone.
Jim DiOrio, 217 8th Avenue. Quick question on Belmar Housing Authority. At the last council meeting, a lot of emotions on taking things away. But then I read in the Coast Star, there's a waiting list of 83 people with no Belmar residents.
That's correct. That's what we've been told.
Okay. So does that tell us people in Belmar really don't want to get into the Belmar Housing Authority complex? I mean, what does that tell us?
I don't think that tells us that, because I think what happens is if the list is open and a Belmar resident applies, they are going to get priority.
I get rid of it.
So that's, you know.
But there's no one on the list.
Well, again,
is
you
that
know,
a
we're
fact?
not privy to the actual list or the way
I
it's,
think
you know.
our reporter wrote in his story.
It's really a question for the Belmar Housing Authority as to how
But
those works.
it was in the Coast Star, and at our last council meeting, no one brought up that there's no Belmar residents on the waiting list. So
I
we're
think the
having
issue
an
is
argument,
that
yet
there
we're
could be
arguing
moving
over
forward.
something that really shouldn't be an issue, because there's no one on the list.
So I see how that would look in that way. The majority of residents that have come through in the past few years have all been Belmar residents. Because there aren't residents on the waiting list currently, anyone who does approach gets to have that unit first.
I mean, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think hypothetically what would happen is if there were a vacancy tomorrow, okay, and a Belmar resident put their name on the list, and I could be wrong about this, but then the Belmar resident would get a priority.
So
To
that person would jump ahead of the
Exactly,
other.
that's the way I believe.
Okay,
it
no,
would.
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
That's what's been
question.
happening.
And I'm just trying to explain what I believe that.
Yeah, no,
That's the process.
Yeah, because it didn't make sense that people were arguing to defend something and no one's on the list from Belmar.
Yeah, the critical thing is when the units become available, then you have the possibility, to fill it, and that's when the priority kicks in.
So they could,
Okay.
leapfrog.
That's the way I understand it, yes.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
it didn't make sense to me. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else like to comment?
Tom Volker, 527 8th Avenue. I really appreciated the meeting over at the housing on the subject, and it just was, it was an eye-opener for me. At one point, a little bit off from that, at the end of the meeting, which was about to end, Maria, in a nice way, asked, what's the progress on the outside of the building? And the comment that I heard was, well, we're waiting for a check. And no sense sending for bids if you don't have a check. Well, shouldn't somebody be asking, what's holding up the check? Now, I know it's not our bailiwick, but these are Belmar people. And that is why we're trying to help them. If you can possibly look into that, it was a forward question, forward answer from Paul, but step back and, kind of wonder about, do you feel the emergency that we feel? So, now I was going to sing a song, no, just
5 minutes are up. Come on.
Linda Sharkus, 4th Avenue. Since we talked about noise, could you tell me what the timing for music and loud noise to end at the bars in town? It seems that it's been a little out of control, and after midnight, it's still blaring.
I'm not an expert on the noise, but.
Any noise is 24/7. Our noise ordinance is 24/7 for any type of noise that annoys anybody. You can read through the ordinance. It includes everything. If there is an issue and you're having, you can hear the noise from bar A or DJs or anything like that, please immediately call us. We go over and we tell them we're getting noise complaints and they're too loud with music. I know that this past weekend we received several for bar anticipation in reference to noise. It was a holiday weekend and
It was loud.
yeah, so
House for shake.
I would just suggest to call the police department and we will handle it accordingly.
Could we just give them a reminder rather than have us?
Yes,
Okay.
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Please come up, state your name and address.
Diane Krucka, 302 River Avenue, Belmar. Why were the bathrooms taken down on the 3rd Avenue boardwalk by the beach?
Because they're not in compliance with the DEP regulations.
Since when? They've been up for years. Why
They
now?
weren't in compliance for years.
So can you get them in compliance? Because we've got people changing babies on the beach, putting dirty diapers in the garbage cans, and people are up in arms about the fact that they have to walk all the way to Taylor Pavilion. So what should we do about that?
The only thing we could do at this point is to put porta potties in that area.
Until when?
Excuse me,
Until when?
until when what?
When can you put bathrooms back in? the-
Next year, if we just passed a motion to have our county engineer look into, our borough engineer look into what alternatives exist to putting bathroom on the beach. And if there's an alternative that is in accordance with DEP regulations, then we'll move ahead and do that.
So all the years that we've had a Third Avenue bathroom, has not been in compliance, is that what you're telling me? Okay, thanks.
Any other comments?
I do, but I'd rather not say.
Okay.
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public session?
A motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and our last item is a resolution to go into executive session. Resolution 2024-150 is, whereas it has been determined by the Borough Council of the Borough of Belmar that it is necessary to discuss the following specific matter at its regular meeting in the absence of the public, pending or anticipated litigation regarding affordable housing and the attorney-client privilege communications related thereto. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits the Borough Council to exclude the public from that portion of a public meeting during which such matters are discussed. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council as follows, that the Borough Council shall forthwith recess into a private executive session from which the public shall be excluded to discuss the above referenced matters, that the scope of the aforesaid executive session shall be limited to the above matters as stated, that those matters discussed in executive session shall remain confidential until such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists as determined by the borough attorney, that minutes of the closed session shall be taken and kept free from public view until such time that the need for confidentiality no longer exists, and that the regular meeting of the Borough Council shall resume after the private executive session, at which time the Borough Council may take action in reference to the topics discussed. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rodinero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Okay, so for the public, we're gonna go into